Good. Thank you. Give us just a couple minutes here. We're getting ready to. This will be live on our digital platforms.
Okay.
Okay. And we're just going through the motions here to get us up and going.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds here, and then we'll go.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Brian Duffy live in the 19 News Digital Studios as we are covering just an absolute horrific tragedy today in Amherst. I am joined on the phone right now by Captain Robert Van Sant, the Director of Law Enforcement in the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. Captain, what can you tell us about what happened today in Amherst on Broadway Avenue? I know, unfortunately, we have two people dead, a mother and a young child. Can you take us through what happened?
Certainly. We were notified roughly after 7 o'clock this morning by the Amherst Fire Department of a house fire on Broadway Avenue in Amherst Township. Once the blaze was extinguished, Amherst and fire and emergency personnel discovered two bodies, one of an adult female and also a child. We had our detective bureau come out, which they are leading the investigation, and preliminary findings suggest that this was probably what appears to be murder-suicide. Evidence at the scene indicated that the mother may have shot the child and then set the house fire and then turned the gun on herself, ending her own life. Yes.
Just an awful tragedy, and I know very difficult for everybody in the sheriff's office to go through, also with the fire department there. And I know the school district also is going to be affected by this. Something like this, as tragic as it is, has just so many tentacles, Captain. It's hard for everybody to kind of deal with this moving forward.
Certainly, it's a profound loss, not just for the community, the township, as well as the school. And it's hard on our officers, our deputies as well. We've got resources that we're reaching out to. Our critical incident response team has some resources that are probably going to come out and do some counseling and offer some resources.
And I know the investigation is just underway. Preliminary investigation shows it as a murder-suicide, but your guys still have a lot of work to do.
Certainly, we still have some interviews, have to go through all the evidence, some things that we found on the scene that suggest or at least led to us indicating or at least finding that this was a murder-suicide. So yes, it's not over. It's still a fluid, active investigation.
Okay, Captain. We appreciate you taking some time. I know this is a busy and difficult time for you as well, but thank you. Thank you for your time. And I know our reporter, Brittany Weir, is on her way down there as we speak, and most likely we'll be looking to speak with you as we gather more information. But thanks again.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, that was Captain Robert Van Sant, Jr., the Director of Law Enforcement with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. I know we have Brittany Weir on the way down. Let's check in with Brittany, and I know, Brittany, you had the opportunity to kind of get involved in this. I know we're very early in this investigation. I know you've been working your sources and working the phone. Anything at all you can tell us at this point?
Yeah, we are still on our way to that scene. Our photographer, Zach, is driving. I'm in the passenger seat. So we're working our sources as he is driving. But as of right now, we know what Captain Van Sant just told us, that this is absolutely, it's horrible, it's sad, it's heartbreaking. This happened on Broadway Street in Amherst Township. We know a mother and her child is dead. It's very sad. The community is feeling this loss. And we do know that in the releases and information that we've gotten, that they have mentioned the Amherst Exempted School District is feeling this loss. So we are reaching out to the school district to see if they have any further information to share with us as well. We are, though, about 7 minutes out from that scene, and as we get there, we'll continue to work these sources and bring you those updates once we learn them. But again, just a really sad morning. This Amherst Fire responded just before 7:30, and they said they found that mother and that child dead in side. I can't even imagine what neighbors in the community are feeling at this moment. But again, still very early on. This is a developing story, and once we learn more, we will bring it to you guys.
Okay, Brittany, thank you. While you were talking there, we brought up the map, and I want to kind of work my way through the map. Brittany, as soon as you get some more information, let us know, and we'll get you right back on our digital platforms here. But go ahead and take your time, work your sources. I know you've got a lot to do, and so go ahead and get to that. And when something pops, let us know. So what I want to do now is kind of take you through the map here in Amherst and give you an idea of where this is. So this is 2 up here, Route 2, just after the split from 90 and 2. So when you're leaving downtown Cleveland, right here, you can see where the split happens between 90 and Route 2. So I'll zoom back in on that map now. There we are. And this takes us more into Amherst, and this is the exit off of Route 2, which is 58. And then I can zoom in a little bit more here and show you the neighborhood, which is right in Amherst, right by Park Avenue. This happened on Broadway, right there, 320 Broadway Street, really in a residential neighborhood. So the other issue that is going to be very, very important as we work our way through this is how the people in that neighborhood are doing. Clearly, this is going to be very difficult for everybody in that neighborhood as we try and give you a little better idea of where exactly this is. This is 58. As you go further south on 58, you can see here is 90, and then it works its way out into Whiskeyville and then South Amherst. So that gives you kind of an idea of where we are. That is out in Lorain County. So we did just get off the phone with Robert Van Sant Jr. He's a captain, director of law enforcement with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, and we'll go over what exactly happened. If you're just joining us, what we've learned is people kind of see something is going on our digital platforms and they join very quickly, and but also they need to be updated here very often. So today at 7:27 this morning, the Lorain County Sheriff's Office was informed by the Amherst Fire Department about a fire 320 Broadway Avenue in Amherst Township. After the fire, so the firefighters show up, they put the fire out. Emergency personnel sadly discovered the body of a child and an adult female at the scene. Detective Bureau of the Lorain County Sheriff's Office is now leading the investigation. Clearly this is heartbreaking, and that's what the Sheriff's Office told us, is that they are dealing with this throughout their office, as I'm sure the fire department is. Preliminary findings suggest now that this was a murder-suicide, with evidence indicating that the mother may have taken her child's life before setting the house on fire, and then that the fire subsequently ended the mother's life. The investigation is ongoing, and this is coming from the Director of Law Enforcement, Captain Robert Van Sant. He's telling us that we need to acknowledge the profound loss being felt in the Amherst and Amherst Township communities and within the Amherst Exempted School District, and mentions that his thoughts of the Sheriff's Department are with this family during this incredibly difficult time. As we mentioned, our reporter Brittany Weir is on the way out to the scene. We're going to pop the map up back here, give you an idea of where they are headed. As you can see, this is the neighborhood. We'll zoom back in here in the neighborhood and give you a good idea of where we're at. For those of you just joining us, this is where this happened. Here's the Greater Cleveland Habitat for Humanity. This is 58, and 58 runs through Amherst from 2 to 90 here, right after the split, which is right here from 90 to 2. This is really the first exit, 58, after that split. that's 80 and 90. Of course, for those of you who are live in that area, you know that 58 is a major road through the area, and it looks like this neighborhood, Broadway here, this tragic accident happened right at Broadway and Tenney Avenue. As we get a little satellite look here at the area, give you an idea of what's going on there. You can see that right in here is the house that was involved. If I pull back out, right here is the house. Well, I'm not real sure, so I don't want to say, because where the pin has dropped is not always exact. But when you look at the map, you can tell it appears to have happened right at the corner of Broadway and Tenney, and I don't want to make the mistake of telling you that it's a specific house when I'm not exactly sure. Let's go down here, 320 Broadway. That's claiming that right there is 320 Broadway. But again, until we get our crews out there, I don't want to say specifically and for sure that is the house, because with these maps you can never be 100% sure what you're dealing with. But when we call up 320 Broadway, this indeed is what is coming up. But again, I would caution you not to take that as that is specifically 320 Broadway, but from the Google Street View, that's what's popping up on our maps right now. Again, Brittany Weir is on the way out there, and we'll get a better idea of exactly where this has happened as we go through this. So there you go. Okay, I'm going to try and figure out on how to get that map. Hey, Scott, how do I get the map back? I got it on the street view there.
Hang on, I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's the view I'm looking for. All right. All right, so once again, I'm going to kind of recap this for those of you who just may be joining us right now. At 7:27 this morning, the Lorain County Sheriff's Office informed by the Amherst Fire Department about a tragic house fire at 320 Broadway. We just gave you the look at Broadway in Lorain County, in Amherst, and what they are dealing with out there. Our Brittany Weir is on the way out there. The fire was put out by the Amherst Fire Department. Unfortunately, after they went inside, emergency personnel discovered the bodies of a child and an adult female. We do not know at this point if that was a little boy or a little girl. The Detective Bureau of the Lorain County Sheriff's Office is now leading the investigation. Preliminary findings now, this is what they have figured out early on in this, is that this appears tragically to be a murder-suicide, with evidence indicating that the mother may have taken her child's life. The little child, the little boy or the little female may, it looks like, was killed before the fire was started. Then it appears, according to the sheriff's office out there, the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, the mother set the house on fire, and that house fire subsequently took her life. The investigation is continuing right now. Important to acknowledge the profound loss that everybody in Lorain County, and that includes the Amherst School District, which would lead us to believe that this was a school-aged child, is feeling at this point. So we'll go back to our map now, and here's where we're at as we're dealing with it. This is Broadway. We're not 100% sure where on this street this house fire was. That looks like that's not a house. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll work my way through this map and try and get us back to where we were. All right. Okay, so we're continue to work our way through this this morning, this afternoon now at 12:30, and we do have reporter Brittany Weir on the way to that scene of a house fire out in Amherst. Happened at 7:27 this morning. If you heard us when we first came on with this, we had Captain Robert Van Sant of the Lorain County Sheriff's Office on with us over the phone. And what he told us, and what he's on his way to the scene, he told us, as he works his way through this, they have a preliminary finding on this, but that is exactly what that is, preliminary. So this investigation is going to be ongoing for at least a little while. They'll have to bring fire investigators into this. The Lorain County Sheriff's Office will also be involved in this as they work their way to find out exactly what happened here. Of course, they're going to talk to the victims' families in this to find out what exactly was going on, unfortunately, in this woman's life that may have led her to do this. I'm sorry, Julia, what? Okay, we're going to have live pictures from the scene here in just a second. But what I was mentioning is that we're dealing with an investigation here that is going to take some time. What we have heard is a preliminary investigation right now. And that does not mean that anything is definitive, of course. So we're going to have to work our way through this as law enforcement officials and fire enforcement officials continue to work their way through this. I'm told we now have live pictures of the scene, and I'm being told that is the house. You don't see a whole lot of damage to the house. You can see our Brittany Weir is there. When she's ready, we will go to Brittany. Okay, I guess Brittany is ready. Brittany, what can you tell us? I know you just got to the scene. I'm first struck by the fact that there does not appear to be any damage to at least that part of the house. Tell us what's going on.
We just got to the scene here on Broadway Street in Amherst Township, and just like you said, when we just got here, you might not even know anything happened here early this morning. There's not much damage to the outside of the house. I even walked around the corner. You're not seeing damage there either. This is not an active scene. We're not seeing police out here. We're not seeing investigators. There is no crime scene tape. It's very quiet out here. Again, we're on Broadway Street in Amherst Township. We did reach out to the public information officer for Lorain County Sheriffs. They are the ones who are handling this investigation. And they just, again, they said there are no current updates at the moment. We do know that, again, this is a very sad morning here in Amherst Township, that mother and child dead after a mother shot her child and shot herself and lit a fire here in this home. This is considered a murder-suicide at the moment, but those are the updates that we have as of right now. Like I said, as I walked around the house, I mean, you can tell that there was a child lived here. There were some curtains on the side of the house that have some cartoon characters on them. But as far as damage from a fire, we're not really seeing anything, Brian.
Okay, Brittany, yeah, clearly we know what happened out here today, without question. So we're just going to have to continue to work our way through this. We are making some calls, Brittany, out to the Robert Van Sant, the captain out there. I'm going to let you go again and let you, maybe you can see if you can find some neighbors to talk to and get a little bit better idea of what happened there. So just keep your camera up and your mic on, and I'll be watching your camera. Go ahead and see what you can find in the neighborhood, and we'll work our way through this at this end as well. Okay? Thank you, Brittany. And again, it's just a little curious. You know, clearly we've had a tragedy in that area, and we're just trying to figure out we're at the address that they gave us at 320 Broadway. There does not appear to be any fire damage to the house. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a lot of smoke damage done inside. And often the case when we're dealing with fires is, I've talked to many fire investigators, in most cases when people die in fires. Okay, we're just getting confirmation that a 9-year-old little boy died in this fire. So the mother, evidently from the preliminary investigation, from what we're hearing, killed the 9-year-old boy and then set the house on fire. and that eventually took her life. This, again, is the home that we are looking at right now. Okay, and we are, Brittany Weir there is continuing to investigate what exactly has been going on. We do not see any fire damage. There's the address our photographer is zooming in on for us. That's a nice job there, because that's exactly where we were told this happened, at 320 Broadway Avenue. Now, this could be surprising, and then on some levels, maybe not so much. Maybe she called 911. The mom, after she set this fire, and quite honestly died from whatever was happening on inside that house. As we continue to work our way through this, I want to play you the interview now that I did with Captain Van Sant earlier today, as he took us through this extraordinarily difficult circumstance where a mom evidently killed her 9-year-old son, and then set something on fire, most likely something inside the house. But here's my interview, phone interview done earlier with Captain Van Sant. Captain, what can you tell us about what happened today in Amherst on Broadway Avenue? I know, unfortunately, we have 2 people dead, a mother and a young child. Can you take us through what happened?
Certainly, we were notified roughly after 7 o'clock this morning by the Amherst Fire Department of a house fire on Broadway Avenue in Amherst Township. Once the blaze was extinguished, Amherst and fire and emergency personnel discovered 2 bodies, one of an adult female and also a child. We had our detective bureau come out, which they are leading the investigation, and preliminary findings suggest that there was probably what appears to be murder-suicide. Evidence at the scene indicated that the mother may have shot the child and then set the house fire and then turned the gun on herself, ending her own life. Yes.
Just an awful tragedy, and I know very difficult for everybody in the sheriff's office to go through, also with the fire department there. And I know the school district also is going to be affected by this. Something like this, as tragic as it is, has just so many tentacles, Captain. It's hard for everybody to kind of deal with this moving forward.
Certainly, it's a profound loss, not just for the community, the township, as well as the school. It's hard on our officers, our deputies as well. We've got resources that we're reaching out to. Our critical incident response team and some resources that are probably going to come out and do some counseling and offer some resources.
And I know the investigation is just underway. Preliminary investigation shows it as a murder-suicide, but your guys still have a lot of work to do.
Certainly, we still have some interviews, have to go through all the evidence, some things that we found on the scene that suggest or at least led to us indicating or at least finding that this was a murder-suicide. So yes, it's not over. It's still a fluid, active investigation.
Okay, that was an interview we did earlier with Captain Robert Van Sant, the Director of Law Enforcement for the Lake County Sheriff's Office, talking about what exactly happened here on Broadway Avenue in Amherst in Lorain County. I'm going to take you back to the live pictures now from the home. You can see as we continue to our reporter Brittany Weir is working this story, looking to find somebody in the neighborhood to talk to. We hope to find out a little bit more about this family and what they were going through. It's just so sad and tragic, and you wish there had been something. We hear so much about mental health in our country now, and so many people who struggle maybe to get the help that they need, and unfortunately and sadly today this appears to have become a situation where this young mom may have been in a difficult position. I don't want to speak for anything she may have been going through. Clearly she was trying to work her way through some issues, and it's just so sad and heartbreaking that this felt like the best option for her at the time to get out of whatever she was dealing with. It remains clearly one of the most important issues There's so much going on in our country now, and you know, politically, and what we're going through, and the election we've just been through, that we need to prioritize some issues that are truly important, like mental health in this community, because tragically we've lost a 9-year-old boy today who knows what he could have grown up to be, what kind of young man he could have been, and what he could have provided to society. And I'm not, not in any way, shape, or form do I want to condemn this poor mom, because I have no idea what she was going through. As you take a look, as our camera person works his way through the streets here, as they go, and they might be in the process. Well, let's listen in here.
And what you saw this morning?
Well, I looked out the window this morning, me and my wife, and we seen smoke come out of the door with the fire trucks over there, and we had to get her out to go to work, and they had a stretcher over here in the road over here, and the dog come out. It looked like he had burn on the back of his back. And the police and everything were over here, and smoke was pouring out of the house. They said she was all right, but we just didn't know. And then come to find out, Sue said that she died, and it was like, that was horrible.
Did you say you saw them, the emergency crews, pull her out on a stretcher?
Oh no, they had the stretcher out when we left. I seen her yesterday, and she was doing real good, and she brought her little girl home, and they were really happy. It's a shame that she died in there. She just moved in like a year ago.
A year ago?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know her? Do you have any interaction with her?
We just say hi to her. We go over and talk to her, and we didn't know what her name was. I know her little girl's name was Alex, but I didn't know what her name was. Okay. Real nice woman.
And did you see the fire at all? You said you saw smoke?
We just saw the smoke come out the front door, but we were wondering why the car was parked way over here.
That's not normal.
No, it's not normal at all. It's usually parked in the driveway over here.
Okay.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And how does it, as a neighbor, you live right next door, how does it feel knowing that this happened this morning?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's horrible.
Yeah.
I just can't understand what would happen, because they were in bed early last night, about 8 o'clock. This is, I can't describe what I feel right now.
No, I don't think anybody can. It's so heartbreaking.
It is. It really is.
Did police or anyone come talk to you at all this morning?
No, there was right over here, and they were focusing on her over there, and I just didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe it was just smoke inhalation or something. That's what we thought.
Yeah. Has there been any issues at this home before that you
No, not at all. Nope.
Okay. Was there anything else I missed? Anything else you want to share with us?
Nothing I could think of at the moment.
Can I get your first and last name?
John Fisher.
Can you just spell Fisher for me, please?
Fisher.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And again,
not
I'm
a
so
problem.
sorry.
Oh
Thank you
yeah,
for
it's
talking
just
to us.
really heartbreaking.
Yeah, it really is. It's so sad. You don't
It
think
is.
anything like this would happen. You can't understand why it would happen.
No, I don't know why. What would happen? Why would make it be like that? Because it's real normal. Nothing. She'd have friends over and her family over, and that would be it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you again so much.
No problem.
I'm so sorry that this is, your reality this morning.
I know.
So thank you.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Yep, I'll let you get back to the rest of
All
your
right.
day.
Thank
Brittany
you.
again. Nice
Oh,
to
nice
meet
to
you,
meet
John.
you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Oh, not a problem.
Appreciate your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Oh, not a problem.
Watch your step.
That was Brittany Weir, who was interviewing a man. I think his last name was Fisher, so I believe John Fisher, and it was heartbreaking to listen to what he had to say. He clearly knew both the mom and the little 9-year-old boy, and said he just saw them yesterday. As a matter of fact, again, here is the house. And that was our Brittany Weir doing that interview with Mr. Fisher, who clearly lives across the street on a side street. As you can see, the house where this tragedy took place today. Brittany, are you listening in to me right now?
I am listening, Brian. Yep, I've got you.
Okay, that was really hard to hear, listening to Mr. Fisher describe what he saw in what he went through as he watched this. Kind of give me your thoughts on what was going through your mind as you were talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, we just spoke to John Fisher. You heard that interview, and he said he's just at a loss of words. He can't understand, like most of us, why something like this would happen, but also to happen right across the street from his home. Again, like you said he saw the mom, he saw the child yesterday, and said she was doing well. He said seemed like she was having a good day. Nothing seemed kind of out of the ordinary. But the one thing that he did say was out of the ordinary was this morning when he woke up and he looked over here at this home that the mom's car was parked on the side of the house. I said, that's not normal, right? And he said, no, it's usually parked in the driveway, but the car was parked up against the home this morning. So that was a little off. But he also wasn't even sure what exactly had happened here this morning. Unfortunately, we are the ones who had to tell him how sad and tragic this was. And he's, again, just at a loss for words, can't understand why something like this would happen. And again, he says he's never had anything like this happen in his neighborhood before.
We know how difficult your job is on a day like today, asking people in that neighborhood what they're dealing with. So go ahead, get back to work, and once we see you have another interview or anything new going on, just let us know, and we'll get back to you. To your reporting. I'm going to we'll take some video of you guys doing that. I'm going to bring up a map now again and kind of reset this situation on exactly where we are. Again, this happened this morning at about 7:27 according to the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. And again, we're resetting this, and we continue to do this because we're live on all of our digital platforms, and we know that people continue to join and may be wondering what they're seeing and what exactly is going on. And I'm going to continue to pop up these shots as long as we have them, but just understand that our crew out there, this is a working scene for them. And so sometimes the video get a little shaky or not what you're normally used to from our professionals. But what's going on here exactly is what we've been told is a mom who lives in that home right there at 320 Broadway tragically killed her 9-year-old little boy sometime this morning. And then set something inside of that home on fire. We see absolutely no fire damage to that home. We don't even see char marks, those black char marks that you would normally see coming out the windows as the fire is looking for any oxygen that it may have. That fire, whatever fire took place inside of that home, that smoke, more than likely, took the life of that mom. Again, it was a 9-year-old boy. We do not have any names. We heard Mr. John Fisher in that interview with Brittany mention the name Alex. We're not sure. That could be the mom or the little boy, quite honestly. But what we are told is that this investigation is just getting underway. What we are giving you is what the Amherst, what the Lorain County Sheriff's Office is giving us, which they say is just a preliminary investigation right now in that this is what happened at that home. And it appears that 9-year-old was a student at the Amherst School District. We're working to get more information on what school exactly he attended. We do also want to point out we're coming up on the 1 o'clock hour, and we will be on starting our 3.5 hours of live local news at 3 o'clock today, where we will have complete coverage of what has transpired tragically today here in Amherst. I'm going to pop up the map one more time, show you where we are here and how this is working, and give you a better idea for those of you who are not familiar with the Amherst area, far west side. You could see here is where 90 splits between 2 and 90. 90 kind of veers off to the south. 2 continues in the other direction. I'm going to pop up the scene one more time. And as we continue to work this story, we are going to take a little break on our digital platforms now. We'll be back here at 1:30 with any updates that we have. Again, Brittany Weir is on the scene. And again, don't forget our 3.5 hours of live local news starting at 3 o'clock. But for now, we're going to pop out of here, and we'll be back here in just about 35 minutes.